Hello, Michael back here. Welcome back to another installment of Mike the Mike, and yeah, it's a rainy February. The rains have finally let up a bit, and decided to take the opportunity to get out and continue experimenting with this, these kind of more short form videos. And this is one of my favorite places in town. I don't want to give any fake news, but I think that this is one of the oldest farms in the state, if not in the country. But yeah, this is, a lot, as you can see, a large field. There's this single kind of standalone tree behind me, and I honestly think it's really just cool and symbolic, and I don't know the greater history or the significance of why this seemingly this tree has been left here, when the rest of the field has been been made into a field, but I just think, yeah, it's really cool that this tree still stands here very much as a sort of monument in this space. And yeah, I guess I won't say any more on that for now. I'm going to try not to ramble. Yeah, the last time I had a script, this time I don't have a script, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to try to keep on track. I had like so many ideas of what to say apart from this one, but I'll try to keep it on track with this one for what I had wanted to say. But let's see. I think what's been really a revelation for me lately is just and maybe I should start with sort of just the impressions that I get, I guess, especially from my parents, is just that I remember having a conversation with them, and they felt like the impression they got from me was that I thought that I needed to, get better before I, moved forward, so to speak. And it's like, yeah, that they're picking up what I was putting down. Like that is like, I do feel like I need to get better before I progress forward, and it's kind of like a no-brainer, like, why are they not on the same page, and seemingly why do they not get it? Like, really, what's just been coming to the forefront of my mind is just, it's been impressed upon me that, like, I just have, like, really, like, the way I see it, like, fundamental, like, challenges. And I think for so long I had just was just masking and just carrying this immense weight, and finally, was, what's the saying, the horse that broke the camel's back. Like, it just reached a point where I just couldn't put it up. I just couldn't do it anymore. And just the idea that I can seemingly just need to, like, work harder and just push more to do what I need to do is just really missing the point. Like I'm a huge people pleaser, and I believe I'm like a really hard worker. So if it was enough for me to just work harder, to get better, to do, like, to be where people would have me to be even where I want to be, like I would be doing that. Like the reason why I'm not simply, just getting back to a job, finding a place to live, is because that's something that I just can't do right now. And if I tried to do those things, like the gains that would be there would be temporary at best, because it's already been a case of me just pushing through and striving and winding up here. So where am I going with this? This is why I like to have scripts, but I don't know, maybe this is an improvement. Maybe you will appreciate my long pauses and my pondering on video better. I don't know. And all of my ums. This idea that I'm 33 and I should know what I'm doing and have reached a certain point, like, to me, like, age really doesn't really qualify or constitute anything, really. It's kind of the quality and what happens within that time, and depending on what you're able to do or not do, it's like, it doesn't matter how old you are, like, it's just a number. And it wasn't until last year, really, that I feel like I recognized just how debilitating my ADHD is. And I think maybe, I don't know, I think maybe there's a hopeful perception that having a diagnosis like early on will correlate to getting the help and treatment that you need. But that wasn't so much the case with me, I don't think. Because, like, I was probably, like, second grade when I realized that I had ADHD. And I tried, my parents had me try medication without success. I did not respond well to it. I had really strong, like, negative reactions. And I've since, last year, tried medication again, just because of the experience. I was like, maybe I just need to try again and do it on my own rather than having it being forced upon me the way that it was. And so I tried it in my own way, my own time, and still was just not responding well. But that leaves me in a place where it's still, I don't know, just kind of this evolving of I think just further, maybe just in my own way, feeling like I'm understanding neurodivergence in a different way. I think they're, just from what I've read and speaking with friends, I have really connected with autism. I don't, there could be a grand real, hey guys, I have autism now, but at this point, I don't think that I do. I just think that there's so much overlap between ADHD and autism. I'm going to find out, yeah, you can have ADHD and autism. I just think that that's been sort of eye-opening for me in a way. I'm in a public place and trying to do my best to have a bit of a private conversation in this public place. But I think I was just saying that I think there's like a manner, I don't know if I'd call it like respect or understanding of like how debilitating autism can be, but I just haven't really seen it like acknowledged just how debilitating seemingly ADHD can be. And at least I'm finding that's the case for me. Like, I think because various aspects of ADHD can be treated with like medication, I think that's maybe part of why it's not taken quite as seriously. But I question even if it can be treated with that. But certainly when medication or traditional medicine doesn't seem like it's helpful or an option. Um, Man, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just, I don't know. I think there's so much more that I'm learning that just doesn't seem like well or like widely understood. Even again, like with autism, like I've heard it talked about as a spectrum, but then I've even heard it talked about like, well, it's not actually really a spectrum. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure of different, uh, uh, knobs and dials and levels and factors of things that can be, struggles or not. Except of course you don't get to choose, and so I just wonder how much of that also applies to ADHD, just the different ways that these things manifest themselves, individuals. And so, like what's my, what is my particular manifestation or brand, if you will, of ADHD, and how that's potentially going to affect me, different than somebody else. But even apart from the ADHD, like it wasn't until, again, this past year, just realizing that I have experienced trauma, and it wasn't even until, this year really that I was able to like identify, like correlating it to complex PTSD, and so, and also just like realizing how debilitating as well, like that I have anxiety and how debilitating that is, coupled with the depression. And it's just like, yeah, I'm 33 years old now, but like I'm just now like realizing these things about myself, and it's like just realizing it doesn't make it better. Like I'm still at the earliest stages of trying to treat and or trying to, I don't know, find ways to work through these things and to come to a place where I can manage them, is the word I'm looking for, and not treat to like manage these things in a way that I really haven't been or hasn't been understood. And that's not even to mention the my chronic health issues. Like I still, like it was 2012 when it really kind of hit, but I think I've just been realizing recently that I think there were some symptoms that I had even earlier on than that I just didn't notice, recall, or take seriously. And so it just makes me wonder like how much of this has been something that, although it's only revealed itself, in 2012, like has there been some underlying issue that's just not been noticed, not been recognized? And what would it look like to actually figure out or know, what said underlying thing is, and how that, change things moving forward to actually know what it is and have a chance of trying to address it. But it just feels like, I think of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where, the one like knight, I can't remember his name, is getting all his limbs lopped off, and he says, "Oh, it's just a flesh wound." Like, just the idea that I have all these things, stacked upon me, and I'm supposed to just like, or I did, for the longest time, just act like, oh, it's just a flesh wound, but it's like, no, like I've been bleeding out, and so I guess all this to say, like, I think it has been a huge thing to have awareness and recognize these things, and so I'm hopeful for this next step, this next phase for this year is going to be to find the appropriate people and the appropriate channels so that I can, get some more help, but I hope that it'll be some sort of, positive snowball effect where I get help, I receive certain services, but then that also kind of gives a sort of credibility, to what I struggle with, the fact that I'm receiving services, to be able to say like, oh yeah, I do have this stuff, but I do struggle. In terms of applying for something like disability, if I can find a diagnosis, will it help with that? If it just seems like potentially the more help that I'm receiving, the more answers that I can get, that it might, get my foot in the door, so to speak, and set me up to potentially receive other resources and benefits. I don't know. It's what I'm hoping. So we'll see what that is. That's for now. It's just my hopes and that's my plan. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be leaving this here shortly. Leaving what I've said at that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Will I be able to remember the quote off the top of my head? I'm just going to be, quoting the Matrix all the time and making no apologies for that. It's like a second Bible for me, practically. But there's like a counselor, like a leader within the community, last human community. Is that an eagle over there? Oh my gosh. And he has this quote that he's an old man and doesn't bother making points. There's no point, something along those lines. And so I'm trying to take that on as a kind of mantra for myself, and yeah, not need to always have to make a point to make an argument, to make things convincing, especially with what I'm doing here, when I'm really just trying to share and hopefully encourage others and have some conversation starters. So yeah, no point here, just some thoughts and some rambles, some musings, and yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you as always for considering these things with me, and until next time, please stay well and take care. Bye.